Well, as I am recording this video, it has started to rain. So in today's video, I was thinking about and want to talk about something that literally blew my mind. It is that the business journey isn't just a progression like this, maybe with bumps along the way and you kind of just go up like that. But what actually is there is growth, and then there are things called a sweet spot. And so in today's video, I want to talk about the sweet spot, and then there's this area that you want to avoid at all costs that I didn't realize existed, and I want to go over that too. And if we haven't met before, hi, my name is Adam Keeler, and for the past 5 years, I've been working on getting my startup all the way to $1 million a year in revenue. And my hope and dream was to make it a thriving, profitable business, and it was way harder to do that than I imagined. And it wasn't until recently that I implemented a few things that changed everything, and now it is a thriving business. And my hope is that through this YouTube video, I can pass on the information that you need to be able to get your business from a surviving business to a thriving one. All right, so this concept of having a sweet spot, so this concept of the growth of a business and having sweet spots was so mind-blowing to me. So I was watching this YouTube video, and his name escapes me right now, but he was talking about how a lot of businesses just grow. They're in this growth mode constantly. And then he talked about how there are actually these sweet spots that if your business is there, then it's more profitable. And what I mean by that is there is less expenses, you can raise your prices, so you're more profitable and you're not forking out all your money in expenses. And there are those sweet spots. And there's one about 750,000-ish, and the next one is about $1.5 million, and then it goes up from there. But it's kind of the area that I want to talk about right now. And then he talked about how if you're anywhere stuck between those 2 points, then you're in something called the death zone. I can't remember if that's what he called it, but that's what I'm calling it. And it's bad. And we were stuck at it was about $950,000 a year. And I thought having this $1 million business was a great thing, but in fact, we were getting worse and worse off, where our business was falling apart. We were not making, we were cash poor, and we were starting to run our business into the ground. And I could not figure out why, because everybody's striving for $1 million business, and so I was too, and I had made it. So why isn't it amazing? It's because I just passed that sweet spot, and I was trying to keep growing in this death zone. And the death zone is essentially, in order to get more revenue, you need to spend more money on marketing. And if you spend more money on marketing, then you need people to handle all the new leads, and so you need more of that. And then there'll be more jobs. So you need, your small crew that you have now aren't able to handle it anymore, so you need to hire more employees. And then since you have more employees, you need to make sure you have a manager. So if it's you need to hire a new manager to manage. And it's crazy how your expenses go up a lot, but then your revenue doesn't go up that high. And so in that zone around, we'll say it's about 750,000 to 1.5 million. If you're kind of stuck in there, you'll run into the point where you'll run into this situation where your expenses are creeping up too high for the revenue that's coming in. And so the sweet spot is pretty much, it's just the lean machine where you just do the necessary marketing. You don't spend 10% on marketing because people say you should do that. You just spend the right amount. You spend a lower amount and you get a lot of referrals, you get a lot of repeat customers, and you can keep your area smaller, your team smaller, and you're able to profit a lot more at the end of the day. And like I've mentioned before, you can also raise your prices there because your your capacity is full, and so you're not able to get any more customers. And because of that, you're able to raise your prices so that when you do lose, let's say you lose 20% of your customers, that it'll make room for more customers. And then now you have increased prices, your capacity's full, you're not running a lot of ads, and you've got this lean team and lean expenses, and that is the sweet spot. And going back to this death zone, I think so many of us entrepreneurs, we just feel like we hear all the time, like, if you're not growing, you're dying, or you gotta grow a percentage every year. Like, is it 5%, 10%, 20%, 100%? Like, what, how much are you growing every single year? And nobody ever talks about how there are spots like the death zone that if you get stuck in there, it's bad news. The strategy really is you want to go from sweet spot and then earn as much money as you can, because growth sucks up a lot of cash to hire and train and market and all that stuff. It sucks up a lot of cash, way more than you think. And I've experienced that, because there was one year that I tried to do that before we had like really built out the sweet spot, and it cost about $75,000 that I just wasted trying to grow my business. And so you need to have extra money set aside, the systems built out, and kind of have your business, I guess, a little bit more established, and then you try to jump to that next sweet spot. So this death zone, it reminds me of somebody that I'm pretty good friends with. They live in Fort Worth, and he had a business in Hawaii. It was about a $2.5 million in revenue business. And when he came here, and he had it for a long time, I want to say like 20 years, but I don't think he's that old. And he came here and he was building the same business here, and he scaled it really fast to $1 million. And he just told me in January that he decided that he was going to go out of business and close the doors on his business. And I asked him why, and he said, I can't keep up with all the expenses that I have. And there are a couple other reasons. The market right now is a little bit iffy with not requiring people to have certain requirements, and so those people can charge a lot less. Anyways, so not going to talk about that at all. But the idea is this death zone. I never knew it existed, and unknowingly I went there thinking that was the $1 million a year business. Like, that is where it's at, and it's not. It sucks. If I were to do it all over again with that understanding, I would never have tried to get to $1 million business without hitting the sweet spot first and maybe pushing it to $1 million in the sweet spot. So we ended up having to come back down a little bit in revenue. We let go of some employees. We stopped spending so much on marketing, which I'll talk about that in another video. But all these expenses that I felt like as a business growing and getting more legit, that we just piled in on, and it's like the idea was for every, like, if this $5,000 program or $5,000 asset or whatever it was, like if it just broke even, then it would be worth it. Or if it just doubled the money or whatever it was, that's terrible, a terrible way to think. And essentially, you want to build this foundation the right way. You want to build it so your business stands strong and sturdy and can handle things really well. And so if that's something that you're interested in, I walked through it in detail in this other video, and you can click on the video here or go to the description below and click on that link. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.